If you've ever been playing Sova on Icebox and maybe you thought you could win up a clutch if you just knew a couple more lineups for your recon darts or your shock darts, then this video is going to be just for you. We're going to be taking a look at some wonderful Sova lineups on attack and defense, not only for recon darts, but also for some shock darts. So join us and let's take a look at some of them right now. With everything done on the defensive side, we're now going to be turning our attention towards the attack side on Icebox. For our first recon, we're going to be looking towards the A site for this one. You're going to want to go ahead and line up with the right side of this LED strip. From there, you're going to want to then go ahead and take a look at this corner of this tablet. Make sure that when you pull out your recon, the right bottom part of your second diamond is slightly above the bottom corner. From there, give it a 0 bounce and a full charge.
Scanning ahead.
Travels fast, lands right here above sight, giving you perfect info of anyone who is holding close, as well as anyone who is just deciding to hold back dice. Great early round attack recon if you want to go ahead and push in quick and fast with your team onto A. Be aware that this does not fully cover any of this part of maze, so as long as you have part of your team or you yourself taking a look towards maze, you should have a fairly easy time pushing onto site. Now, if you and your team want a little bit more info towards middle of the map early and you maybe want to just get to know where you want to go, this recon is going to be wonderful for that. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is put yourself in this corner next to this tiny little box. Take a look at the Kingdom logo, specifically the very top part of it like so. When you pull out your recon, make sure the inside bar is intersecting the top of that little diamond like so. After that, you're going to want to give yourself one bounce and a full bar charge.
Revealing area.
Travels all the way across middle of sight, landing right here on top of mid boiler, giving you info for anyone who is standing there, as well as anyone who has gone ahead and tried to rotate. Now, while this recon doesn't give you a lot of help in terms of killing the enemies, it does let you and your team know where they are playing in the back of their spawn, lets you know if they are rotating, and overall just gives you a better chance at getting 1v1s for the better kill. Now, there are many teams that when they start out on defense, they will want to be very aggressive and push A, maybe get the orb, maybe just try to get info and get behind you if your team is pushing towards B. So, to stop that and to maybe get some extra kills on them when they're trying to get the drop on you, what you're going to want to do for this recon dart is put yourself in the exact same position somewhere around this right side of the LED strip. This way, this time, instead of aiming for somewhere on site, you're going to want to aim for this wall in the foreground, somewhere right here, like so.
Revealing area.
Doing that will not only reveal anyone who's starting to push up towards orb, but also let you know if anyone is sitting on pipe. Once your team has planted the bomb around here and you are looking to go ahead and set up for post plant, these double shock darts will do wonderful for that. What you're going to want to do is first make sure you are up top on this little rafter belt right here. From there, you're going to want to line yourself up with the left side of this wall. After that, you're going to want to then take a look at the top little slanted corner of this metal part. Aim a little bit to the right of that and just do a simple tap. After that, for the second one, what you're going to want to do is take a look at the top middle part of your UI right below the clock. You're then going to want to go ahead and line it up with this little corner in the background right here, this little slanted corner, like so. From there, all you have to do is jump and immediately release. And when those two come together very quickly, they'll look something like this. Both landing very quickly one after the other so that even if they go ahead and tap it and are up ready to shoot you, they'll have nothing to shoot but the lightning god Thor himself as it comes raining down onto him. Once your team decides on what site they want to push and they decide they want to push A and you want to go ahead and clear out anyone who is hiding behind green box, this double shock dart lineup will be perfect for that. What you're going to want to do is put yourself in this corner directly in front of these two barrels. Take a look at this bottom corner intersecting the light gray and the dark gray. When you pull out your first shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that your left bottom part of your diamond is touching that intersection. You're going to then give yourself 1 bounce and a 2 full bar charge. For the second shock dart, this one's going to be a bit wonky. You're actually not going to stand in the exact same place. What you're going to want to do is put yourself a little more out there towards the site, this time looking at the site. You're going to want to make sure that you can see this second line intersecting the light. Make sure that it is not the first. Make sure you have enough clearance to see the second. And then from there, honestly, just make sure you are aiming at the top part of the line right here. And then you can pretty much just shoot it from anywhere as long as you can see it right there.
Shock dart.
And when those two get put together, it'll look something like this.
Shock dart.
Both quick, fast detonation, and again, assuming that your teammates are pushing towards maze and pushing up onto site, the enemy will have no chance but to peek and giving your team very ample amounts of time to eat some cheese. For our next double shock dart lineup on A, this one is going to be for any Viper or any Raze that is going ahead and sitting in this corner towards the bottom of pipes. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and put yourself in this little corner next to these barrels. From there, you're going to want to make sure that you take a look at the top of this second light to the left. When you pull out your dart, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that the second line in your charge bar is touching the top of that light like so. And then just give yourself a 1 bounce and a 1 bar charge. For the second one, you're going to aim a tad bit lower, this time aiming at this top right little nut screw icon. Then from there, you're going to want to line that up with the tip of your left diamond on your bounce, like so. Then give yourself 1 bounce, a 2 full bar charge, and shoot it when you are at the top point of your jump. Now, when you put those two together, it'll look like this.
Shock dart.
Both going off very quickly, almost too quickly for me to even see it after shooting them, letting anyone know who is there that they are either going to meet death or they hopefully should go find a priest. For any annoying chambers or Reynas who are going ahead and sitting right here on this box and trying to get a peek on you from either rafters or from pushing on to belt, this next double shock dart lineup is going to be perfect for dealing with them, as well as getting rid of any gadgets or such that the chamber or anyone else has put there. For this, what you're going to want to do is put yourself directly in front of this line on this box. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this tiny little screw dot on this wall. When you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that the UI line in between your drone and your shock dart icon, the left side of it, is touching that dot like so. Then you're going to give yourself 2 bounces and a 1 full bar charge.
Shock dart.
Second shock dart from the exact same position. You're going to want to take a look at the corner that is made with this wall in the foreground and that wall in the background. Gonna want to put your crosshair somewhere around here. Give yourself another 2 bounces. This time, give yourself a 2 full bar charge. When those two get put together, they'll look a little something like this.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
As you can see, the timing of them is very, very tricky. It'll be something that you'll have to work on a little bit. But overall, even if the timing isn't exactly there, they land just in about enough time between each other where if the enemy is standing on this box and tries to maybe go down, they will end up here and end up getting destroyed by your second one. Starting out on A for our first recon dart on defense, we're going to want to go ahead and position ourselves right here onto site. You can pretty much put yourself here at the beginning of the round before the round starts if you want to. From here, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this second line to the left over here in the middle of this big metal plate. When you pull out your recon dart, you're going to want to make sure the top left part of the charge bar is touching the second line right there, like so. And then after that, you're going to want to give yourself 1 bounce and a full charge bar and let it go.
Scanning ahead.
As you can see, this bounces above this little hole and lands right here, not only scanning people who are going to be coming in through this lower part, but also lets you know if anyone is coming up here towards belt and trying to push or take a peek from over there. Now, of course, you could change it up and end up shooting your dart here or over towards that wall if you wanted to, always trying to aim above them so they have to look somewhere different than where they're aiming for you. But overall, even for first rounds, even for rounds that the enemy team might have better guns than you, this dart from here is normally your best friend. If as Sova you are not playing on A and you are looking to retake it after they have gone ahead and planted or are on the site, this recon dart is going to be great for that. Very, very simple. Just going to want to make sure that you are taking a look at this part of the wall when you are retaking. From there, there's really no specific lineup or anything. You're just going to want to make sure you give yourself 0 bounce and a full charge and throw it somewhere like so. This dart is very, very good at revealing not only people who are on the site towards maze, but also people who are sitting back towards pipes or even towards nest. Not only does this recon dart provide you and your team a lot of info, but it also gives you more options on which shock darts you want to go ahead and use and where the enemy is placed. If the enemies decide to push all the way on the site and they end up starting to plant default, these next double shock darts are going to be just wonderful for that. Our placement for our character is going to be the exact same, so again, just make sure you have some sort of teammate on site or someone to cover your balls. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and then make sure that you take a look at this little white area, white square of this monitor type thing. From there, when you have your shock dart out, you're going to want to make sure that the left side of your UI that is holding your health bar, the very left point of it is touching the corner of that white box right there. After that, you're going to go ahead and give yourself 2 bounces and 2 full bar charges. For the second shock dart, you're going to want to take a look at that same left part of your UI, except this time you're going to want to take a look at the far right side of it and make sure that it lines up perfectly with this little corner like so. From there, give yourself 0 bounces and 0 charge. When these are done in quick succession, they look something like this.
Shock dart.
Very quick detonations between the two, very fast. Even if someone is deciding to plant and try to get the plant off, they will very, very most likely end up dying, giving you and your team either time to push on and defuse, or if they didn't get the bomb down, time to go ahead and secure the site. Now, right before we take a look at some anti-plant shock darts for A, we're going to go ahead and give y'all one more double shock dart lineup. This one is going to be for anyone who is trying to grab this little orb right here, or you just hear them start to tap it. Where you're going to want to go is put yourself in this little corner right here, but not all the way in the corner. Make sure you have yourself lined up with this first line to the right of the, or excuse me, to the left of the wall. From there, you're then going to want to take a look at this line, or excuse me, this part of the wall that juts out right here. When you take out your shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and put the first line of the charge bar, the right there on it, so that the bottom part of it touches the little corner. Give yourself 1 bounce and 0 charge. With your second shock dart, where you have your first shock dart placement, you're going to want to then pull that down so that the bottom of the charge bar meets with this corner, like so. From there, it is a 0 bounce and pull and release. Let me cut that. And here's what it'll look like all together.
Shock dart.
That is not what it'll look like altogether. Fuck. And here is what it'll look like put together.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
Both, again, going off one after the other really, really quickly so that even if anyone does try to tap this and then start to peek, they will immediately be rained down upon by some shocks. When your arrow A decides to pick someone up, peeking, pushing through rafters, or pushing through main, this next double shock dart is going to be perfect dealing with those who are going to be pushing up towards belt, or excuse me, nest. What you're going to want to do is put yourself in this corner right here. Take a look at this little crux of these two edges. Make sure your crosshair is lined up directly with that little crux. Give yourself 2 bounces and 2 full bar charges.
Shock dart.
For the second shock dart, what you're going to want to do then is take a look at this little steep ledge right here. Put your cursor in the middle of that little gray part. Give yourself 0 bounces and just a quick pull and release. When you put them both together, it'll come out like this.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
If you feel that you are going to be pushed by the entire team, or you just might not enjoy your survivability on this round, this quick double shock dart just to go ahead and clear off this if you want to go ahead and peek main or have a teammate peek main is just overall very good, as some of our other shock dart locations are going to be incredibly passive and you will have to be alive for the majority of the round. So overall, very, very good aggressive double shock dart lineup. Following up with another set of double shock darts, this one is going to be for enemies who are maybe grouping up around this area, or you start to hear some info, start to hear some util coming through. This next double shock dart lineup is going to be great for that. First thing you're going to want to do is take a look at this first middle line to the left of the door, and then you're going to want to go ahead and put yourself directly under that in the middle of this big metal square below it. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this corner right here. This is going to be our first shock dart. You're going to want to go ahead and give yourself 2 bounces and pull and release charge.
Shock dart.
Second shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and pull your cursor a little ways down and take a look at this little peak right here of this metal. Give yourself another double charge and instant pull and release. And when you put both of those together, it'll be a little something like this.
Shock dart.
Quickly detonated one after another, very, very fast. This is a very small walkway for them to go through, and I have countless memories of my team pushing through here and getting destroyed by raise grenades and anything of the sort. So a thing like Sova's shock darts will do just nice to anyone who is trying to peek out here. So for our first anti-plant lineup, this is going to be for a plant that is right around here. Usually this area will be for where the sage decides to wall off right around here. That way they won't be able, or excuse me, you won't be able to go ahead and protest the plant. These double shock darts will be just for that. What you're going to want to do first is make sure you're in this corner right here. A bit exposing of your character a little bit when you put yourself in this position, so just make sure you have at least a teammate on site. But assuming you do, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at the little map right here, specifically this area next to this little square. When you pull out your first shock dart, you're going to want to make sure the left side of your owl drone icon is directly to the right of that square, like so. From there, give yourself 2 bounces and 1 bar charge. With the second shock dart, you're going to want to then take a look at this second square. And when you have your shock dart out, make sure the middle part of your owl drone is overlapping that square like so. And then it is a simple tap and release with 0 bounces.
Shock dart.
And when you put those two together, it'll look something like this. And obviously, of course, depending on how quickly you are able to get the second one off, they will detonate slower or faster depending on that. But a relatively fast detonate from one to the other. And if anyone is trying to plant and decides to stay on after that first shock dart, they will heavily pay the price. This next double shock dart lineup is going to be our last one for a defense. This one is going to be for any enemies who are holding here towards jail after they have gone ahead and planted. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is put your character lined up directly with this side of the door entrance in the middle. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this little top part corner of the wall or ceiling. When you pull out your charge bar, you're going to want to make sure that the top left corner of your charge bar is intersecting the top left corner of the ceiling. And you're going to go ahead and give yourself 1 bounce and a 1 bar charge.
Shock dart.
For the second shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that the left part of your second diamond is intersecting with the top right corner of this wall, like so. And then just give yourself a simple 0 bounce and pull and release charge. When you put those two together, it'll look something like this.
Shock dart.
Both shock darts with a very quick detonation time, giving the enemy 0 able seconds to go ahead and do anything else but push out, and hopefully you or your team will be holding them right here for a very easy kill as they're very flustered. Looking over towards B, our recon for B main is going to be a little similar to our recon on defense for B main from mid. Except this time, we're going to go ahead and position ourselves once the barrier drops in between these 2 boxes, like so. After that, you're then going to want to go ahead and take a look at the king logo right here that is cut off, specifically where it intersects with the box below it. When you pull out your recon, you're going to want to line up the top part of your left diamond with the intersection with the king logo and the box, like so. Give yourself 1 bounce and a full charge, and let it go.
Scanning ahead.
Landing around the same place as the other dart on defense, except this time you're on attack, giving you full amounts of info for anyone who is peeking out towards yellow, or if there's anyone holding close with a shotgun of some sorts, which they love to do. Once your dart towards B main has tagged someone, or you just know there is someone holding over all the way towards yellow trying to peek y'all, these double shock darts will be able to go ahead and suss them out and make sure that you can figure out which one of them is the imposter. From here, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you position yourself in this far right corner next to your spawn with this slanted part on the wall. From there, you're going to want to turn around and then take a look at this second darker square to the right. Take a look at the top right part of it. When you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that the far right line of your UI is lined up with the top right part of that little square, like so. And then that is going to be a simple 2 full bar charge for the first shock dart.
Shock dart.
For the second shock dart, you're going to take a look at this little chain link hanging from this yellow bar. And when you pull out your second shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that the second circle on your shock drone, or excuse me, your drone UI is overlapping that little chain circle, like so. Then you're going to want to give this one a 1 bar charge with 0 bounces. And here's what they'll look like when you put them together.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
One going off right after the other, letting anyone know who is standing here that they either have to peek or die. And again, if you have your teammates pushing up towards this lane area, those 2 shock darts will go off at the perfect time, giving them a lot of time to aim. For our final double shock dart of the map, this one is going to be after y'all have planted, and if anyone is holding over there towards that little snowman guy right there, these ones will be perfect for that. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is put yourself in a position like so, next to this wall. From there, when you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this intersecting line on this crate. When you pull it out, you're going to want to make sure that the right line, the far right line of your UI is intersecting those 2 lines like so. Give yourself 0 bounces and a 2 full bar charge. For the second shock dart, you're then going to want to take a look at these 2 bars holding up this crane. When you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that the top tip of your left diamond is intersecting those 2 bars at the top, like so. And then that one is going to be a simple 1 bar charge.
Shock dart.
Now let's see them put them together.
Shock dart.
Both landing very quickly after the other, much like all of our shock darts today, giving them no amount of time to think, no amount of time to run, only time to die. Switching it up and moving over towards mid on defense, this recon is going to be a very, very good early recon to get any info out from mid. What you're going to want to go ahead and do is make sure that you are anywhere near close to the edge of this wall towards mid. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this furthest light and look at the tip of it. Make sure your crosshair is lined up with that, like so. From there, just give yourself a 1 bounce and a full charge, and let it go.
Revealing area.
Dart lands here and scans anyone who is deciding to push towards mid or anyone who's even holding
Right here.
closer to A or closer
here.
to B. Overall, a very good map controlling recon dart. Lets you and your team know if any of them are pushing. Obviously, after shooting that a couple of times, they will be able to destroy it immediately. So make sure that you are changing it up as you go. But for the first couple of times you do it, it'll help you and your team secure mid for the further round. If you're wanting to hold mid as Sova, but maybe get a little bit more info towards B, this recon is going to be wonderful for that. So what you're going to do is put yourself in this corner next to these 2 barrels like so. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this corner made by that box in the far and this wall in the near. From there, you're going to want to pull out your recon and make sure that your drone icon, the V part of it, is touching the wall next to that corner like so. From there, you're going to give yourself 0 bounce and a 1 bar charge.
Revealing area.
Travels all the way across mid, lands right here, giving you a ton of early info, letting you know if any enemy is pushing towards B. If a team is playing default or mostly passive, this might not help out in the long run, but if you know they are aggressive at pushing sites and maybe they've pushed B a couple times already, this dart will be very, very helpful for letting your team know where they're pushing. As far as retaking B goes, if you know they're on site or they have already gone ahead and planted and you want to go ahead and throw a recon to see where they are, this one is going to be perfect for that. You're going to want to go ahead and put yourself in this corner right here. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at the middle dash line in your UI in between your shock dart and your recon. From there, you're going to want to also take a look at this little pin pad security guard card system. From there, you're going to want to make sure that the right side of your middle dash line on your UI is touching the top left corner of that security card system like so. After that, you're going to want to give yourself 0 bounces and a 1 bar charge.
Scanning ahead.
Travels all the way across site, lands right here, scanning anyone who is even sitting behind yellow. Also lets you know if there's anyone holding these 2 corners for both of your team to push in confidently, letting them know where you're getting peeked from. Taking a look at our first anti-plant double shock dart lineup for B on defense. This one is going to take place right here in this corner. You're going to want to make sure that you are all snuggled up there. After that, you're going to want to take a look at this corner of the wall. When you go ahead and pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that the far right line of your UI is just a few inches, or excuse me, a few pixelated centimeters above that line right here, like so. And you're going to give yourself 1 bounce and a 1 bar charge. And for the second shock dart on the default Sage Wall plant, what you're going to want to do is take a look at that same little UI part, except this time look at the bottom curved part of it. From there, you're going to want to then take a look at this corner of the wall. Make sure that the curved right side part of your UI is lined up with the corner like so. Give yourself 0 bounces and a 1 bar charge.
Shock dart.
Now once you mix them all together,
Shock dart.
pretty quick detonation, one after the other, and as I said, even if the Sage does decide to wall right here, these will go directly over it and make sure that she is not going to be the one alive to plant it. Now let's say you don't think they're yellow, or you just maybe want to change up where you shot your shock darts because you've already shot them towards yellow. These next shock darts are going to end up towards
here.
B cubby right there. What you're going to want to do, again, make sure you're in the exact same position as the other shock darts. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this little part of the snow that lips before it goes into the bigger part. You're going to want to make sure that when you pull out your shock dart, the far left side line of your UI is lined up with that little part of the snow like so. And you are going to want to go ahead and give yourself a 1 bounce and a 1 full bar charge. After you've shot the first one, for the second one, you're then going to want to go ahead and take a look at this little corner right here. When you pull out your second shock dart, you're going to want to make sure that the right circle of your drone UI is lined up with that corner like so. And then you're going to want to give yourself another 1 bar charge, this time with 0 bounces.
Shock dart.
Put together, they will look something like this.
Shock dart.
Very quick detonation, very close proximity, making sure that even if they do have a chance to hold out right here, your enemy team, or excuse me, your teammates will be able to go ahead and have someone either snowman or on-site top or bottom so that they can go ahead and get an easy kill. Once your recon onto B does end up tagging someone, if they end up seeing someone back towards yellow, or maybe you just have a feeling they'll end up going back towards yellow, this double shock dart lineup is going to be perfect for that. What you're going to want to do is put yourself in the exact same position you were for that recon onto B. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this furthest left pipe, specifically the part where this light gray intersects this black painted part. From there, you're going to want to then make sure that when you pull out your shock dart, the far left line of your UI is intersecting where that black meets that gray on the paint right there. From there, you're going to want to give yourself 0 bounces and a 2 full bar charge.
Shock dart.
For our second shock dart, this one's going to be a little wonky compared to the other ones. This time we're going to be taking a look at the letter R in the word charge under the charge bar. And we're going to want to go ahead and make sure that it is intersecting with this corner of this green little container, like so. From there, you're going to want to give yourself 1 bounce and a 1 full charge bar. And when you put those shock darts together,
Shock dart. Shock dart.
both going off very, very quickly depending on the timing of when you shoot them. Instantaneous. If you have any teammates who are going ahead and pushing out towards yellow, this will help them tremendously with them having to peek 1 less angle and hopefully also netting you a kill. Now, if your recon over towards B does tag 2 or more enemies from the other team pushing hard and pushing fast, then you're going to want to go ahead and help your teammates towards B out with this double shock dart lineup. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and line up with this line on this box like so. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at this corner right here. Some of you might have snow depending on the graphical inputs that you have. Some of y'all might not. Just make sure it is this corner right here. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and pull out your shock dart and make sure that the bottom part of your second diamond is hovering just above that corner. Give yourself 1 bounce and a 1 bar charge. For the second shock dart, you're then going to want to take a look at this snow off the very top of the roof. Make sure that your crosshair is just a little below that. And then do the exact same charge with 0 bounce.
Shock dart.
And putting those together will make it look something like this.
Shock dart.
Both go off very quickly. Both let the enemy team know you know that they know that you know that they're going. And lets your enemy and lets your allies know that you have their back. Conversely, from our last double shock darts, if you don't think they're pushing in as fast to B, or you just maybe start to hear them grab orb a few times too many, This double shock dart lineup will be great for making sure they don't touch orb. You're going to want to go ahead and put yourself in the exact same position as we were for the other one, lined up with this tape on the box. From there, you're going to want to take a look at this first pillar to the very left, specifically this part right here. When you pull out your shock dart, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that the bottom right far corner of your charge bar is touching that pillar and that snow like so. Then you're going to want to go ahead and give yourself 1 bounce and 1 bar charge. For the second shock dart, you're then going to want to take a look at this corner right here, this far deep corner in the top left. If you cannot see this corner because of the snow, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you have the detail quality turned to low. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and put the exact same bottom right corner of your charge bar right in that corner and give yourself another 1 bar charge, this time with 0 bounces. And when that all comes together, it looks something like this.
Shock dart. Shock dart.
Very, very quick detonations, both going off almost simultaneously, and it helps your team out tremendously, especially if anyone is peeking from yellow. And that is going to be all of our shock dart lineups and recon lineups here for Icebox for Sova on attack and defense. I want to thank you all so very much for checking out the video. It means the world to me. Again, I apologize for the delay in uploadings. There's been issues and other things and stuff and things and cheese in the works and gumming up the cheese and stuff. But hopefully, we should get these out very consistently to you every Tuesday and Thursday, so be on the lookout. Let me know if there is another agent that I haven't covered that you want to see me cover. Let me know if there are any better setups here on Icebox that I missed for Sova. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Make sure to leave a like if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Boop!